Hello and welcome to Finder TV. I'm your host Chris Stead, the entertainment editor here at finder.com.au, and we're here to talk about streaming TV. The streaming TV space is exploding like Mount Vesuvius at the moment. We've got Apple TV Plus, which came out just 1 week ago. We took you through that. We took you through a comparison between Apple TV and Netflix. This week we're talking about Disney Plus, the giant, the behemoth, Disney. And they are going up against Netflix in a head-to-head battle to see who demands a space in your entertainment setup. Let's compare these two beasts.
Okay, everybody, let's take it from the top.
Alrighty, so let's start with price, the big question. Disney Plus is coming in at a very, very reasonable $8.99 per month. Now, we compare this to Netflix. There is a basic Netflix plan at $9.99 per month, but as for standard definition, and who the hell is using standard definition in 2019, let alone 2020? So, we've got to look at the top tier premium Netflix $19.99 price to get a like-for-like comparison here. Now, Disney Plus does launch with 4K content and Dolby Atmos and Dolby Vision included in that $8.99 price tier. To get that type of thing on Netflix, $19.99. It works out to a $132 difference per year. Quite significant, really. Also, you get significant simultaneous streams of 4, so you can have 4 streams running at once with Disney Plus, and you can have up to 7 accounts running on the service at the same time. So you can share with your family and your mates should you see fit. So if you're $8.99, you're getting a pretty good value for money there compared to Netflix. Apple TV Plus, which came out last week, that's about $7.99 per month. But as you see later on in this episode, the content variation is quite significant. Okay, when we look at the features between Disney Plus and Netflix, they're quite comparable. Netflix has set the standard for what we expect nowadays from streaming TV, and Disney keeps pretty close to what you expect. We're talking horizontal EPGs that we're very much used to. We're talking all your genre breakups, things like movies based on real life events, categories such as that we can go through and check. There's also a kids category, of course, that's become standard now, where Disney does separate itself somewhat in terms of the way that the user interface works, is that it has the main pillars at the very top that you can select between. So we're talking Pixar, Marvel, National Geographic, Star Wars, and of course Disney itself. So you can select straight into those categories if you want to find the content that you're after. On top of that, there's the 4K that we already mentioned and the Dolby Atmos and the Dolby Vision. But we're looking at probably around 91 out of the 600 titles have that actual feature going in. Obviously, a lot of Disney's content is legacy content and has been around since as early as the 30s. So it's highly unlikely we'll ever see that stuff in 4K. However, that is a feature that is available. You can download whatever you want to watch wherever you want, and that kind of sits itself nicely into a little tab for you to access when you're on the go on a plane wherever you happen to be. That feature is pretty standard nowadays with streaming TV platforms, but really when you compare the two platforms, Disney versus Netflix, in terms of features, they're very, very, very comparable. Okay then, so on to content, the big one. This is what we're all here for. What do we get to watch on Disney Plus? Well, Disney Plus is launching with over 600 TV shows and movies. Now, it's fair to say you've probably seen a lot of these before, either in cinemas or on other streaming services or just through your day-to-day life, living the whole of your life. Disney's been around everywhere you look. There is some new content available at launch, but it's not much. And there's only really one big tentpole, and that's The Mandalorian. It is a new Star Wars TV show that is really cool, and that is kind of must watch. However, other than that, there's not too much going on at launch in terms of new original content. Unlike, say, Apple TV Plus, when it launched, at least everything it launched with it was exclusive and unique and new for the Apple Plus TV service. That is not the case with Disney Plus. The majority of the content, the vast majority of the content, 610 of the 630 stuff at least, is available elsewhere previously, and you've probably already seen it. When you compare that to Netflix, Netflix has 4,200 TV shows and movies already available, and if you're ever looking at Netflix, you can see that almost a new original comes out almost every single day, it seems. So Netflix is always going to have the edge on content. It's also worth pointing out that Disney Plus is family orientated. There's not very much in the way of mature content, unless you count stuff like the Avengers or Star Wars or The Simpsons even as being kind of mature. But there's definitely no adult-only content. So it's very family-friendly in that if you're a family and you want to have some generic content that everyone can watch, Disney Plus is going to serve you well. However, if you're on the adult range of the demographic and you want to get some new, unique adult content consistently, Disney Plus is not going to serve you now or in the future.
Wasn't that funny, boys and girls? Well, wasn't it?
So one of the big benefits that Netflix has is it's available on pretty much everything. It's been around for years and we're used to seeing it on just about every device we can get our hands on. Disney Plus, to its credit, has a very, very strong launch up of devices. This includes a couple of smart TV brands in LG and Samsung, and also video game consoles like the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4. This is a really good start for Disney Plus. The only real thing that's missing is probably AirPlay, and while no Mac support is listed specifically, it is watchable through browsers, so you'd assume that you'd be able to watch it through Chrome on a Mac. We haven't been able to test that as of yet. In terms of the rollout, Australia is one of the lucky few countries which is going to be available in 2019. As I sit here right now, it has launched in the USA and Canada and the Netherlands, and on November 19 it will launch in Australia and New Zealand, and then after that we're talking daylight to Europe in about March next year, and then Latin America at the end of 2020, with the rest of Asia looking at 2021. So in terms of that, we are well ahead of the pack. The problem is that we're hearing reports from our US colleagues at Finder.com that there is very buggy start to the service over there. Logging in has been challenging. We're seeing tweets from Disney themselves saying demand has been more than we expected. This could mean that both the US and territories like Australia become a bit of a test place. The fact that they've launched in so many devices at once is going to challenge their tech teams there to try and keep everything running smoothly across all devices. We will watch this closely. Keep an eye on the Finder.com.au website, and we'll let you know if there's any technical hiccups you need to know about. Okay, so there you go, Disney Plus versus Netflix. So, can you have one or the other, or do you need both? Well, it depends on the type of household you are, but for our money, you're probably going to end up needing both, I'm sorry to say it. Disney Plus's content from here into the future is looking really, really strong. There is a hell of a lot of exclusives coming in 2020, both in the TV show and the movie space. We can assume that the bugs and the problems and the teething issues are just simply a state of demand being so high at launch, and they will also improve. So we think that probably you're going to end up having Disney and Netflix in your house, and there may be other services that you end up trying to lose. So Disney Plus has been off to a bit of a rocky start. However, the future looks very, very bright indeed. It's great for families. It's a good price point. It's got a lot of good content, and the features are exactly what we expect in 2019 and beyond. 2019 and beyond! If you'd like to keep abroad of everything happening in Disney Plus, keep your eye on Finder. We've got a team working across the globe on this. We've got everything we can possibly find out about this service live as soon as we get the information to hand. And if you'd like to know specifically about the Australian release and how you can get your hands on a 7-day free trial, sign up to our newsletter and we'll let you know the minute it becomes available. Thanks for joining us on Finder TV. It's a streaming TV year.